You're listening to Sell the Damn Service, the podcast for service providers who want to scale sustainably, book out with high value clients, and make serious money without jumping on the 6 figures in 7 minutes hype train. Most of the advice out there is built for one-to-many offers, low-price digital products, and hustle-heavy marketing. But if you want to stay in the service industry and still grow big, the truth is you're not being spoken to until now. I'm Emily Williams, an award-winning business owner who sold millions in the online space through both services and digital products. And after all of that, here's what I know for sure. Services are still the fastest, most sustainable path to consistent revenue. So if you're ready for yapping, hot takes, and straight up conversations about what it really takes to sell and scale your services, you're in the right place. Today, I want to talk about messaging and how a simple shift, truly, a simple rephrase of your presentation, your positioning, your angle can drastically impact your conversion rates. I've been doing a lot of deep diving lately on specific messaging tactics for higher level consultants. I've been working with consultants myself in my kind of micro agency side of my business and my brand. And some of those clients work with massive companies, like massive. And I've been noticing how they interact with those prospects and those leads and those clients, and some of their language shifts that are different than how I interact with my clients, and how I've seen a lot of you do it as well. And I've been having a conversation a lot this week with my clients who are struggling a little bit with their sales conversion. They go back and forth over and over and over again through email and never land on booking that final sales call or getting that actual proposal approved or contract signed or whatever it may be. I have clients who are sitting in on sales calls after sales call after sales call and not getting a conversion. And I know that my clients are incredible at what they do. And so to me, it is not the skill set, it's not the expertise, it is the delivery of that, right? And so I've been doing a lot of auditing of sales conversations, emails, sales pages, all of it. And I found myself giving the same feedback in 2 back-to-back conversations literally this week, yesterday and today. And so I wanted to talk about the specific language shifts that I'm seeing. What I have always said and what I've always known to be true is that in the service industry specifically, but I do believe in a lot of consumer relationships, the buyer wants to be told what to do by the person that they're buying from. And what I mean by that specifically in the service industry is I expect you, whoever I'm hiring, let's picture I'm hiring a capsule wardrobe stylist, and they come into my house and they're looking at my clothes, they're looking at my closet, and they're like filtering through it all, right? And I hired them specifically to go through all my shit and pare it down and build me a capsule wardrobe. Let me know what pieces I'm missing, what I should invest in, what I should get rid of, what I should keep, all of the things, right? So what I don't want to happen is that person to come into my home and go look at all my clothes, and then she lays them out and she holds them up and says, which one do you want to keep? Right? Or she's standing there and saying, okay, well, in my experience, some of my clients have done this and some of them have done that. Which one do you want to go with? I don't want that. I am hiring her to tell me what to do. She is the expert, not me. I want her to come into my space and say, you need to get rid of that and you need to keep this. I don't even really need her to tell me why. I just want her to do it and make it happen, right? I want the end result. And so I think that when it's a specific service like that, right, it's very easy for us to grasp that and to understand it. But if it's something a little bit more in the air, right? Where it's strategy or it's consulting, it's advisory, where there are a lot of different ways that we could go about achieving this result, right? At the end of the day, we all know that to be true. We all know that if you want more sales, there's 1,000 ways to get those sales. If you want more engagement on social media, there are 100 ways to get more engagement on social media. There's never truly only one answer, right? But I think that we've been allowing that to impact how we show up in our own expertise. So, a big part of the work that I do with clients is really helping you identify your specific authority anchor. So, you know, that annoying question that you get every time you fill like an ideal client profile and someone asks you, how's the unique way that you show up? What is your unique selling proposition, your USP? It is a very common phrase and activity that we've all done 100 times in this industry, right? And if you're anything like me, historically, I've had a really hard time answering that question. I don't know. I don't know how I uniquely show up. I don't know what is my USP. I don't know, right? And for me personally, I have to like hear it reflected back from me from other people, right? Okay, so it is that. It is the USP or what I'm calling your authority anchor, because sometimes if I'm just asking you to find your unique selling proposition, what is that? What does that actually mean, right? So I find it a lot easier to first identify my authority anchor, the thing that I am the expert in doing, the one result that I want my clients to get. And then I work backwards from there. Okay, if this is the one result I want them to get, how do I uniquely make that happen? What is my unique framework in achieving that? And the promise that I can give, right? So it's when we know that we are able to stand more confidently in how we show up and deliver. Why us? Why right now? Why should you hire me for this problem now? That's ultimately what we're all trying to communicate. And it's especially what we're trying to communicate in a sales conversation. So, what I've been seeing is I think it is common for female founders specifically to not only use softer language in our messaging and marketing and selling, that's fine. And that's not necessarily a problem. But what I'm seeing is because I literally do this myself. And nearly all of my clients do. Once I tell you this, you're gonna be able to spot it in every single copy you read, and you're gonna think of this episode. Okay, so what I'm seeing is a justification for why what we are saying that you need to do is what you need to do. We are explaining, justifying, providing examples as to why I'm right, why my way is the way that you need to implement, invest in, do, right, in your business or in your life to see this result. And so we'll say things like, you know, uh, in my experience, I've seen this unfold in this way. With the clients that I've worked with this year, here are the themes that I've seen. HubSpot put out this study recently and they said XYZ, which is why I ABC, right? Um, in from my experience or the results of my clients or within research I've done, or I analyzed, of 300 posts and 87 websites, and here are the patterns and trends that I saw. And based on that, I used my brain and the expert that I'm in this niche and developed this framework or roadmap or plan of action based on all of that. Here's the information that I used to develop this strategy. And that is why my strategy is the best strategy, because it's an informed one. Here I'm citing my sources, right? That's what it is. We are constantly citing our sources for our expertise. Okay? Hear me when I say this. The higher level client you work with, and I don't say that in a disparaging way. I quite literally mean like clients are on a spectrum, and I'm talking about level 10 clients right now. Okay? This is what I call them, your level 10 clients. The higher on that scale that you're working with, the more that person is trusting in you to make decisions for them and to tell them what to do. They would rather you be wrong than make them have to be a part of the decision-making process. They're not just hiring you for the result. They are hiring you to tell them what to do. So let me give you an example. If I were a social media marketing expert and I was hired to come give a presentation in front of a whole bunch of founders, CEOs and founders, the old version might say things like, HubSpot conducted this survey of 1 million social media accounts across the last 5 years, and here are the patterns and trends that they saw. Here are the results of various campaigns that my top performing clients have seen this year in 2025 within blogging, TikTok, podcasting, ads. Here's the breakdown of why this strategy worked over here. And after polling 1,000 people, here's the feedback they gave about this platform. And so knowing all of that, and after learning that and digesting that, I took it and made the plan that your company needs to implement in 2026. And here's why you need to implement it. And here are the pieces of the strategy. Okay, now hire me to implement it. All of that could have been boiled down into, in 2026, here's what's not working. Here's what is going to work. Therefore, here's what you need to do about it. Here's what you need to stop doing. Here's what you need to do instead. And here's the expected result. Hire me to help you do that. That's it. So do you see how one could be spending 5 to 30 to an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, explaining and justifying and bringing the receipts, the proof of why your point is the point that it is, right? I studied this, I read this, I learned this, I saw these patterns. These people hired me. So see, I'm an expert. People have already hired me for this. I've used all of that, time and experience to inform this strategy that I'm now going to tell you about. They just want to know what to not do and what to do instead. That's it. That's it. And so I encourage you to take a look through your copy, literally the copy on your website, because I just edited a sales page this morning for a client. And the hero copy, that prime real estate, the first paragraph started with something like, over the past 12 years, we've worked with hundreds of consultants and founders and CEOs, and we've learned XYZ. And that's why this offer exists and you need to buy it. That's not relevant. I'm calling it dead weight on the sales page. It's dead weight in your hero, especially, but it's really dead weight in your sales conversations and in your emails. I want you to learn to be more direct. It's time we book the sales call to talk about X, right? If you want this result, this is what you need to do. So I took this to heart and I started practicing this language shift for a client I have right now. They're a consultant, they get hired by mega conglomerations to advise. They come in and speak to their teams and their senior leadership and give talks and all that good stuff. And this person hired me to help them implement a strategy on a new channel, a new marketing digital ecosystem, part of their digital ecosystem, right? And this channel is a little new to me. I'm not an expert in it by any means. And so I have been actively researching, learning, doing deep dives, watching videos, reading articles, fiddling around with my own account and learning and immersing myself in this channel so that I can learn some things, right? Reading case studies from other people. I love doing that. I love learning a new platform. And I found myself in a recent meeting wanting to start the conversation by saying, okay, well, I saw on this person's account that they said XYZ. And then I learned this. And the pattern of all of these things that I've learned is that. And therefore, that's why the strategy needs to be blank. And instead, what I did is I took my meeting notes and I clicked and I highlighted all of that pre-jargon, the dead weight, and I deleted it. And I walked into that meeting and I said, if your goal is X, which this is what they've communicated to me, right? Then we need to do Y. End of sentence. And here's what's funny is that sometimes they'll test you, even if they're like, they subconscious, like they're not trying to be malicious about it, but they'll say things like, okay, well, a buddy of mine recently started an account on that platform and they said Y. And I'm going to say, that's not the right strategy. This is what we're doing. This is what we need to do. Because I know that. I actually know that to be true. And just because it's on a new channel or a new platform that I might be less familiar with, the mechanics are the same. It's creating content to build an audience and visibility so that you make money. That's ultimately what it is, like if you boil it down, right? And I know what is required and what has worked. And I could say, well, in my experience over the last 14 years, well, when I've built a similar strategy out for clients, we've done this and here's the result. It doesn't matter. You're already paying me to give you this advice and give you this strategy and consult. And my advice, yes, because of all of this experience, sure, is that strategy is not going to work, but this one will. So this is the one we're doing because I'm helping you lead this project. So this is where I'm going to take it. And that's what I mean when they would rather you be wrong. Maybe this strategy didn't give you the result that you thought it would. High level consultants and clients understand that business is an experiment, right? You can't actually guarantee anything. But what we did was alleviated them having to be a part of the discussion of the strategy. And if I were to say, okay, here's everything I've learned, here's the strategy, that immediately opens the window for my client to say, okay, well, what if we try this? And what if we test this? And you all know when you've sat in on meetings before where a client does that, they've been given free reign to do that. And they said something and you're like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I know that's not going to work. And yet you kind of have to appease them because you've opened the door. That's what I'm trying to prevent. Because guess what I need in order to do my job well, get more referrals, and ultimately make more money? I need to get them a result. I need to get them the result that we have collectively agreed on that we're going to try to get. And you hired me because I understand digital ecosystems, digital marketing, visibility, audience growth, all of those things. Just because it's on a new platform doesn't matter. The root of those things are the same, right? And so let me be the person that's guiding this campaign, this project, right? So I encourage you, go through your proposal copy, go through your sales page copy, go through your emails when you're asking to schedule a call or connect. Go through your own kind of elevator pitch, practice it, walk around and practice the very bold, direct version of what you've been saying in the past. Instead of saying, because of, like, I just imagine, like, when you just like pull a fresh load of clothes out of the dryer and you like pull it out of the dryer and you walk to your room and you dump it on the bed and now you've like got to sort through it all. That's what I imagine this feels like, is when you're just like dumping this pile of warm, clean expertise and proof and evidence. You're just dumping it on the bed and then picking up each piece and saying, because of this and because of this and because of that and because of this. And now clean slate. That's why we need to do XYZ. Trim the fat. Trim the dead weight. Clear the clutter. Don't go through your dirty laundry or clean laundry. Just get to the point. Get to the point faster. Test it out. Let me know how it goes. It's going to increase your conversions for a fact. So let me know when that happens. Thank you so much for listening to Sell the Damn Service. If you loved what you heard today, do me a quick favor. Hit subscribe, leave a rating, and drop a review. It seriously helps more service providers find the show, and it keeps me yapping into this mic every week. It's a nice, free, easy lift way for you to support the show. And hey, if you've got a friend who needs to hear this, please send this episode their way. The more people selling their damn services with confidence, the better this whole industry gets. See you next time.